private prosecution because the prosecutor refuses, but also refuses to give certificates so that private prosecution had happened. And I said that case now is having the inquest. That is my information. And the person that is doing the inquest is asking the question, why was this not enrolled? Because it's an obvious case. So, but I did not say, what I said I would support was a private prosecution.
For the inquest? Or that involves or would result into an inquest?
There is no private inquest.
The private prosecution, that will be the result.
Honorable member, private prosecution comes this way. If South African prosecutors say they can't prosecute, they don't see the case, they must issue the certificate for you and me to go and get the private prosecution. And then there is amount of money that we must pay for private prosecution. That's the money that was paid by Lulu for Mkhwanazi, that 500,000. So you pay that money. After paying that money, then there is a private prosecution continues. But if you don't have certificate, you can't go for private prosecution. I'm saying, I said, President, I would support private prosecution. The only thing that is not happening is to get a certificate from the prosecutor that could not enroll. So in exchange must give the certificate, of which also was refusing. So we're just stuck in the middle.
I understand that, Minister, but I was referring to the end goal. That's one step towards that goal. But let's move on. Who arrested the hitman on AKA?
Who arrested?
The hitman.
It's a team that was put together.
Which team? Is it the PKTT?
No.
No?
No.
Yet he was killed in a 5-kilometer radius away from the head office. And they were arrested close to 1 year later.
The head office does not arrest. Even if he was killed in the head office, would not have been arrested by head office. But the team was put together, and then the team did the good job.
Yet there was a team there, specialized team, in a 5-kilometer radius that can go all the way to a different province. They could not deal with that there, right there and then.
Where was it? Which team was that?
The PKTT is there.
Where does it sit?
They are there.
Where?
In KZN. So what I'm saying,
headquarters.
Where Mkhwanazi's office is.
No. Get your facts straight.
What is the facts, Minister?
The facts, they've got their headquarters in Pinetown.
Is it in KZN?
Yes, but in Pinetown, not headquarters of the police.
But is it in KZN?
The police is in the CPT.
Is it in KZN?
KZN is not a capital.
The point I'm making, and this is the fact, that it happened in the province where the PKTT is supposed to zoom into. A hit happens. A different team nationally needs to be put together to go and deal with that murder. A high-profile murder that is just kilometers away from where they are based. But in other matters, they are ready to go to a different province. That's the point I'm making.
Your imaginary fact, that's not a fact. You say it's a fact, it's an imaginary fact.
Okay, help me, Minister. Let's test if I'm imagining.
It's an imaginary fact. You started by saying there were 5 kilometers in the head office. You should have asked the question where they're based. They are not based 5 kilometers. They are not in the head office. Where Vermas, where the head office of the South African Police.
Are they based in KZN?
KZN is not a headquarters, it's a province.
Yes, I know. And that's where the PKT focuses. I'm asked, where did the murder happen? In KZN.
Chairperson, can I help the questions?
Honorable Sols, let me take Honorable Nomvalo. Yeah, no, my apologies, Honorable Source, for interrupting. Honorable Minister, no, for my understanding and for my records as well, what was the competency of the PKTT in this sense? Was it only designed to deal with political killings which are only related to political killings? I know that at some point they were requested to go and intervene in Forterre, but what was the actual competency? Were they only dealing with political killings or with any other murder which occurred in the province? That is my follow-up question. Thank you.
Was designed, Honorable Chair, to deal with political killings. But in their work, Honorable Member, pursuing the political killing, they will be led, let me put it this way, they find that I've shot and killed the councillor, but I've killed a taxi person the other day. They would not let me go to say, now we're stopping to arrest you because you have also killed. But their focus of work and their mandate was to deal with the political killing. And then other kind of killings would have the work of the South African police. Sometimes other kind of killings, they would be specialized, like the AK one was specialized. There was a special team that was put for that.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm okay, Chair. You can move on.
That is my understanding. Is it correct, General, that the acronym PKTT stands for Political Killing Task Team?
Yes.
Okay.
General. I have, I think, about 5 minutes left, so let me jump a few questions. The members of the Special Task Force, you mentioned that taxi bosses would have employed them. Are you able to tell us which taxi bosses?
No, I don't know which taxi bosses. I know that it's taxi industry that employs them.
In a sworn affidavit, a statement by investigating officer Kumarasan Pillay, the state prosecutor Elvis Gweka told Durban Magistrate Court that Bright Circle, a company owned by, I hope I say this correctly, Khaba, allegedly paid 800,000 to the bank account of Mziwetemba Harvey Mngobani, one of the suspects, on the day after AKA and Mkhwanazi was murdered. Do you know about this?
Yes, I've heard that.
So there's a connection between this big taxi owner and the murder of AKA.
Did they say the taxi industry or a particular name?
I also didn't say taxi industry.
What did you say? Repeat that.
Mr. Mr.
Msizenbu. They must help you.
Chair must pause for the rehearsal. Kaba. Is it Kaba or Kaba?
No. You know, when we welcomed you here yesterday, you remember I gave an apology on behalf of my members that if you come across one addressing you as Cele, you must just accept because it may take us time if we try to click the tongues. The pronunciation you have made, Honorable Source, is the best you can try. Let's proceed.
So the person that then finally, the team that was put together, and you were there, Honorable Minister, who was the commissioner or the deputy commissioner in charge of putting that team together to make that arrest?
The team was made by a provincial commissioner.
It was not the national team, you said national.
As young Soyel. The team that arrested AKA was a provincial team put by the provincial commissioner.
Okay. The Special Task Force of 59, the Special Forces of 23, I'm told in military terms, and you can help me there, Minister, is like a platoon. We've already heard by your testimony that these private security, they have helicopters, they've got armored cars, they've got bulletproof, they got weapons. I'm going to ask you a very honest question, Minister. If for some reason this group of people has to go in a fight with our SEPs today, who will win?
State will win.
The state will win. You said yesterday you were so scared because if you think about 59 against 20 from SEPs, it will never work. Why
Well,
were you fearful?
They are not,
yesterday?
they are not special task force in the police now. They are not 20.
You said if you had to send them,
Yeah.
would they win? Because I think the point you wanted to make was that you fear
No,
that they are getting stronger than the SEPs team. That's the point you wanted to drive home the whole time yesterday, that you are worried.
and I added that it needs to be stopped.
You are worried.
And I added that it needs to be stopped. I'm worried and it needs to be stopped. Hence, I said I made the efforts with the National Commissioner to take them back home, which is the process that is happening.
Minister, thank you very much for your time. I want to say that every single one of you, whom we respect greatly, must take responsibility that the state of affairs in SEPS today, all of you have contributed to it. And it's all of your responsibility to fix it for South Africa. Criminals have spotted this weakness amongst you. That weakness is division, to the point where they put and place yourselves against each other. They saw that weakness. They become informants to each of you about each other. You're no longer there. But I think as a senior, as a veteran, push harder to break this division, because criminals are taking advantage of that, and it's making our security vulnerable. And communities are suffering, our children are getting missing, our communities are turning into war zones. We need to fix this. We can't police corruption, General. But I want to say that what's going to happen, there's a spiritual shift. The light in this country is getting stronger, and whatever happened in the dark is going to be exposed automatically. My message to every whistleblower, everyone that's standing up against corruption, don't seek to police it. Just make your light stronger. Don't seek to kill Judas. Judas will hang himself. Thank you, Chair.
I nearly
Thank
said,
you
I nearly
so
said
much,
amen. I nearly said amen.
Hallelujah. Khotsebelele. Honorable members, we're taking a comfort break. We are coming back at 11:30. The next speaker is Honorable Sangoy. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. We wanted to check why is Julius going to hang himself?
Who does? Judas Iscariot. Hello. Who's next now? Who's asking questions? Shut in.
Honorable members, please, may I be respected? I'm on the floor. Falani phela. Hlengiwe, can you close the door, please? Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, General Cele.
Morning, Honorable Member.
You know, General, I think if we were being fair to yourself and ourselves and everybody who has been following these proceedings, we should actually say that there are no further questions. I do think personally that your testimony has been frank, very accountable. You took accountability for a lot of things. Obviously, there will be some amongst us, and I think South Africans who are watching, who will think that you should have made different decisions, value judgments, perhaps even raise some ethical dilemmas. But I do want to thank you and commend you for the frankness with which you have conducted yourselves in these proceedings. Maybe just a few things from me, General, and I really won't be long. I don't want to leave with an incorrect misperception, especially around the infiltration of criminal syndicates within the SAPS. Before I go to the judgment of Judge Tulare, in paragraph 30 to 32 of your witness statement, you spoke about the appointment of Ms. Rea Piecha as the National Commissioner. Is it your testimony that you believe that that is when the infiltration started, or is it something that had been there all along?
Thank you very much. On the comment you made at your opening statement, I do want to make it forward that trying to do the best I can, it doesn't mean that I don't have faults. And I would not sit here and act as a perfect human being. I'm not. That is in relation to your opening statement. I have to first understand if things that Piecha did were deliberate. There is one fact that I would accept wholeheartedly. She did not understand the environment that she was in. It's a tough, difficult, energy-sapping environment, very manipulative and so unscrupulous environment to be in. So her having not any form of resemblance of the experience would be two things: make serious mistake or seriously manipulated for the outcomes that are known by those that are handling her. And I believe it was both.
Thank you very much, General. So then all of this happens, you're removed as the National Commissioner, you now come back as the Police Minister. You're obviously aware of some of the weaknesses in the system, whether deliberate or emergent. Do you think that during your tenure as Police Minister, you would have done enough to deal with the challenge of infiltration in particular?
Yes, it's always good to think from the positive side that I could have done better. In the reflection, you say yourself, I could have done this or that. Indeed, the answer would be yes, much better could have been done.
Sorry, General, I don't know if this question has been asked. It's in two parts. Firstly, criminal intelligence. We've obviously focused a lot on it in this ad hoc committee and the instability within criminal intelligence. Now, as you were delivering your testimony, you attested to the fact that the senior echelons of leadership were not fighting during your tenure. I do want to ask General a pointed question, and I know it's your opinion, But what do you think is causing this current instability within criminal intelligence? Like, ngesiZulu kuthiwa kubangwa ini, you know, because we're sitting in this ad hoc committee, running around in circles, trying to pinpoint a reason. Is it because the minister overstepped his authority? Is it the tender? Is it factions? What would be your opinion? Obviously, being familiar with the environment and the participants in the process, what is causing the instability?
Honorable Member, the turmoil is not in the crime intelligence only, it's across the board. Crime intelligence turmoil is long. I don't know what's your age, but it might be of your age. It's very long. Starting with Mkhwanazi.
Sorry, are you saying I'm very old, General?
No.
Oh,
It falls within the new. I talk about the new dispensation. We should be some 29, 30 years. So the crime intelligence, put it aside, its turmoils. It has been always there. Whether it's Mkhwanazi, whether those that were acting, whether it's Jacobs, whether it's who is there now, whether it's Khan, whether it's Kumalo and all that. But this one of across the board, where you see something that you just shrink to look at, when the Deputy National Commissioner takes Commissioner to the court, usually Commissioner would write the statement defending the Deputy National Commissioner. But the National Commissioner here writes the statement, the affidavit, against the Deputy National Commissioner. It's a hell. It's a serious turmoil. How it came about, Honorable Member, I would be presumptuous. But I think somewhere, somehow, center did not hold for this thing to happen. And it's unfortunate that it has, South Africans, at a certain given point, they had a trust and respect of the police. 2010, it was a good thing. 2011 was a good thing to pay South African police. But it has dwindled. At one time, went to 21% and all. I don't know if the survey can be done now, what percentage can be there. But it's there to see to it. That is bad. My answer, without pointing anywhere, center did or does not hold. That's why we're here.
thank you, General. So, one of the other things that we've been grappling with is the issue of authority and the power of ministers. In your view, General, what is the role of the minister and what power does the minister have beyond directives? We are in a quagmire, for lack of a better word, trying to figure out where this political administrative interface starts and ends. There have been views that says if a minister cannot direct a DG to do something, it becomes absurd, because what then becomes the role of that minister? Is it only just executive oversight, but then, you know, ministers are blamed when things don't get done? So can you tell me, in your own understanding, the role and the power of a minister? Maybe even, is it just directives? And what can the nature of those directives be?
Honorable Member, I hope I'm correct here. Those that are dealing with Constitution will help me. It looks like, if not is one of the departments that are in the Constitution. Police. I don't know if the Department of Health is in the Constitution or Department of Social Welfare is in the Constitution. But the elaborated department in the Constitution is the Police Special 205, Section 205. Therefore, is a very small area of maneuvering of whoever works there, whether a minister or you are a national commissioner, because both of those are prescribed in the Constitution. If you go through the Constitution, that you will be 205, 206, 207, even in the legislation, the big role of policing falls on the shoulders of the national commissioner rather than the minister. The only problem is that people that must go back to the community to give the reports are the ministers rather than the national commissioners. So, developing the policy, no matter what you develop on the policy, do you want to happen, but you can't be unconstitutional, because Constitution is very clear what the police must do. I did say yesterday that I was even very skeptical when Mkhwanazi was debating the matters of devolution of power, which is politics, pure politics. It's got nothing to do with operations, I think. When you look, the Constitution says the job of the police is to uphold and enforce the law. There is nowhere that says and change the law. So it's not their job. So as it stands, honorable member, the national commissioner plays the bigger role in policing in South Africa, protected by both the Constitution and the legislation. And it's very easy to find yourself encroaching if you're a minister. That is why that I would encourage and advise anybody that comes to both of these other national commissioners, please spend most time discussing and talking. Don't wake up the next morning and tell one another that you do this or I'll do this. Please have a very open working relationship. Don't be friends, but respect one another and be open. Have very serious open lines so that you don't encroach and cross the line unwittingly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Minister. So you said that in your role as police minister and even beyond, now that you are a very proud retiree, there's value in you retaining contact even with people that are considered criminals, because they do tend to be useful in some way or the other, especially when it comes to sharing information. So how do you protect yourself, General, from being compromised in such situations? You see, the work of the police, that will include the ministers, one of the biggest weapons is an information. And then you put that information in operation. Then the criminals, they know that, and the criminals, they work to win. Criminality and not having criminality is a very contested terrain. And it's an international phenomenon, honorable member. I've just seen now what Americans have done to Venezuela because of the drug cartels. If you go to Mexico, there are wars that are in the Pacific. There are high ocean wars where the drug cartels, they buy submarines to push their drugs from Mexico to America. So it's a very thin line that you can't guarantee that you can't be compromised. The criminals will forever, not the police, not the Minister of Police, whoever is in authority, they will have to find the way. Looks like you need to keep checking yourself and ask other people to check if you have not crossed the line. So for me to say you can't be compromised, that's guaranteed, it will be folly, because you want to win against criminals. Criminals want to win
against those law enforcement agencies in whatever form. So it's an area that needs to be cut all the time. That's why you find people from the law enforcement compromise, because it's a very contested terrain.
Okay, in that very contested terrain, General, and you know, based on some of these relationships that you've had, were you ever a handler then, General? Did you handle any people, or it was just you getting information? I'm also looking now for that thin line that you were talking about.
Ever a handler or not? No, I've never been a handler.
Okay, it's fine. I won't push you. I won't push you. General, so you said in paragraph 31 of your testimony that all the people who worked with you, or most of the people who worked with you, were removed when General Pierre took over as National Commissioner. You then proceeded to make examples of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, General Masemula, and others. So do you consider Lieutenant General and General Masemula as your people?
Well, the statement, your people, I'm not a king.
And back.
I know you are. I know you are in kingdom. So where the king said, these are my people. So no, these are the people that I knew at the initial stage. I found them there, and I worked very well with them. And they were dispersed as I go, and I've come back, though in the different stage, and I've worked with them. So if I say they are my people, I'll be undermining them, but it's a group of people that we have worked well together.
Is it fair to say you were obviously displeased when they were removed, and when you came back, you would obviously want to at least protect them, if not ensure that the same doesn't happen again?
No, not only that, it disrupted the organization. Honorable Member, you maybe one time, because the work of the law enforcement agencies, including the police, you see it with outcomes, and our outcomes is a question of how people feel in the crime stats. I'm saying that team did a wonderful job, and you could see when the team was taken off, you could see that the crime took on like a what is that thing? Is a Concorde. There was that
Concorde,
aeroplane Concorde, yeah. So it took off like Concorde, and it has never reversed. So the lot of disruption had to be corrected as we come back, and it takes, because it took a lot of time disrupting it, it had to take a lot of time correcting it, going forward. So it's not just feeling sorry for the individuals, but it's the whole organization that was messed up. But more than anything, the impact it did to the nation, and the impact it did to the safety of the people, women, children, and all other people. That disruption made a lot of damage to the safety of South Africans.
Thanks, General. And I'm going to come back just before, because I'm very close to ending, Honorable Mates. I'm going to come back to what you did, but I need you to help me understand something here, General. I know you don't have a copy of this, so I'm going to read it for you. This is a signal message that was allegedly sent by Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi to the minister, and then he screenshotted it allegedly and sent it to Mr. Nhlanhla. It says, Minister, I am going to get the case number and this judgment for you. Now we got something proven by the court. This is the matter now which either Sibiya or the minister can charge Khumalo and apply Rule 9 of the disciplinary hearing. It took the Constitutional Court to release a man who was sentenced to life imprisonment through a forced Section 204 confession. Imagine, Comrade Senzo, after 30 years of democracy, having this kind of policing. I've been struggling with this message since we started. And the case, by the way, it's Makhala. I think it's Makhala versus the NDPP that he's referring to. And I think Makhala law was sentenced to life imprisonment, but he had a Section 204 confession that was extracted by force, he claims. When you listen to this, would this have anything to do with that false affidavit of Mr. Nhlanhla, where Rule 9, in terms of the disciplinary hearing rules, speaks to how Khumalo can be charged? Would you draw any relationship parallels between these?
Well, for me, I don't know why. Maybe somebody will explain. I found Khumalo being a target. It might be him and other people, but he's always on the center of being a target. And I find Sibia always a person that is ready to shoot at Khumalo. Sibia would have his allies. Either it would be Mkhwanazi, Nhlanhla, and the minister. And Khumalo will have his allies. Either
Masemula,
Mkhwanazi,
and the former
Cele.
minister.
And, so, clearly, how that came about, by the way, Khumalo is a new person in the crime intelligence. He's not very old in the crime. But it looks like that's what throws a lot of problem for him. And the suspicion is that he's effective. That's a suspicion, that he's effective. That's why he must be political or through whatever to him, so that you remove him. He had dealt with some dinosaurs there. Honorable Kolapanat will know there are some dinosaurs there in that department. One of them is that guy from Tegwin, your homeboy, Mutli. So he has dealt with those people. Though the courts always don't help much. But coming to this, clearly something had to be done to Khumalo. Who's sending the thing is Brown, is Honorable Brown Mkhwanazi, to say Minister and Sibia must deal with Khumalo and Mkhwanazi.
No, they must deal with Khumalo, and then apply Rule 9 of the disciplinary hearing.
What I do not understand, why should they deal with Khumalo when the court has final decision? For me, whatever they did, whether the affidavit correct or wrong, but the decision to send the man to life is the court. So why to deal with the police when the court has taken decision? So even so, for me, maybe it's somebody that does not know how the system works, or somebody that is driven by the hatred and has no logic of it. And the latter statement, I'll believe. Once a person is in court, you need to deal with the court. You can't deal with the police, because the court is an arbitrator between. The court should have found that the police have done wrong. If they don't find that, so next one to go is the court itself. So it's a court issue. So they must find the judge and find the magistrate, find the prosecutor, and let Khumalo go.
Thank you very much, General. General, then second to last question. I want to ask you about the role of advisors to the Minister of Police in particular in this case. Minister Mkhwanazi had said that he had gotten his letter, or at least his advisor had looked at the letter, assured of its legality and appropriateness. How are these advisors appointed? How do you think they should be appointed? And then how is there any process to keep advisors in check in the ministries? I mean, to whom do they account beyond the principal? I'm asking this because you remember during the Zondo Commission, Judge Zondo obviously had some very scathing remarks about the role of advisors. What is your view about role of advisors in the police service ministry in particular?
Well, I would not change the approach that ministers must employ their advisors. Part of it, besides the skills, is a trust issue. I don't think I can employ Mkhwanazi as my advisor. I don't think so, because the advisor must be aligned.
Point of order, Chair. May I please plead for your protection?
Point of order, sustain Phangazita. Let's hear the point of order.
May I please be protected?
That attack was very massive, Chair.
No, Chair,
General, the point of order is sustained. Phangazita has demonstrated his abilities to serve in that responsibility.
So we'll have to be aligned. It will have to go beyond, is one person that you go beyond the working relationship. You reach something called trust. That if you do something wrong because of the advice you have given, the first thing that must come in your mind, you say, he made or she made a mistake. Should not come to the idea to say, you trapped me. So that is a level of trust. So I don't think that the format of employing people with skills but with trust must be changed when it comes to the minister. That also takes the chief of staff, which is the life of you running that particular thing. But the problem, those people sometimes they do take advantage of converting their ministers to parrots. You think the minister is still running the department, yet he's an advisor or is a chief of staff. So yourself, you need to keep the balance, and now and again remind your advisor, stroke your chief of staff, to remember I'm still a minister. I hear you, but I'm still a minister. I think they easily cross the line, especially the advisors sometimes.
In fact, that's where I wanted to go to, because we received testimony about Mr. Nkabinde, who was the chief of staff, actively participating, I think, in management meetings, in meetings with the commissioners. Is this standard practice in the South African Police Service that the advisors, I mean, there was no such accusation against Advocate Pitkoli, but that you would have the chief of staff actively engaging, participating, literally being part of the management of the department?
Management, I'm not sure. They can't participate in the management of the department. But Chief of Staff, honorable member, needs to sift things before they come to the minister. For instance, there are people that she, because my Chief of Staff was a she or he will meet you and say, sorry ma'am, this thing does not belong to the Minister of Police. Can you go to the Minister of Social Development? So that's a job to do so. But also, people can approach the Chief of Staff and say, can we see the Minister? And it's correct for Chief of Staff to know why are you going to see the Minister. If they see the Minister and begin to say, can you say this and that to the Minister? You could say, Minister, they want to see for this and that. And you say, look, we are not a chief of staff for that. Or you can say, bring them. So those are the things. And slowly but surely. The problem with these things of getting in the wrong side, there is no alarm bell that rings that you have crossed the line. You keep just moving slowly until you are very deep on it. So if we have a people that they don't only think about the best of you as a minister, but themselves trying to find what is there for us because we're in the ministries, we are in trouble.
Thanks, General. Let me make a specific example based on testimony. And really, we're drawing on your knowledge, having been in that office. So when you're discussing an operation like the political killings task team, whether to disband it or not, would it have been usual or unusual for the chief of staff to actively participate and even have an opinion or advance an opinion contrary to that of the generals? Is something like that the norm?
That can't happen. Chief of staff, if he has anything to say, can speak on my ear, but he can't come and tell generals what to do and not to do. The worst that the chief of staff can say that I'll take this to the minister. That's the worst party to come with his or her opinion with the generals. No, that can't happen. Remember, or she is a political office. That becomes an interference then.
Thank you very much, General. So you came back in 2018 at the tail end of the 5th administration. You ran through the 6th administration. In 2018, there were a number of reforms that government, led by the President and yourself, committed to, especially around strengthening the criminal justice system, strengthening SAPS. Do you think that those reforms are bearing fruit at all, General? If not, what do you need to do? If so, how are they bearing fruit?
Honorable members, one thing that police and the justice system as a whole, they need is money. It's money. They need money to be able to do their work. You know, I've been going to every or many countries in terms of policing. If you go to China, every member of community in China walks to police station. They walk. So that's how police stations are situated. Everybody walks in the police station. Nobody takes public transport to go to police station. In South Africa, sometimes you take 2 taxis. 2 taxis to go to police station. You pay 50 rand going, and you pay 50 rand coming back, and you get it 350 a month. So what people would not do then is to report crime because they have no enabling environment to do it. What do I mean by that? Police station must be accessible to people. There must be police station everywhere so that South Africans are able to walk to police station. That needs money. That's one. 2, again, if you go to China, every corner you will find a police standing. That's what is called visibility. I've heard the so-called experts saying visibility is not the main, is the main anchor of policing. When you drive around and you see a blue light or you see the police, you readjust yourself. All of us here, when you go and you see a blue light, you take you took a belt and all that. Visibility has an impact in policing. Now, you can't have visibility when the ratio of the police is 1:400, which I guess that's a ratio. The normal UN ratio should be 1:200. South Africa